to call the winners up to the stage. So please, Diana Swain and Timothy Sawa and Angela Gilbert, come on up. Okay, one for you. Oh, Calvin says, did they all say the same? Yes, they did. Okay, and Jean, would you like to?
Thanks a lot. This is it's pretty exciting. My name's Timothy Sawa. I'm the producer of the project, and there was a lot of people who worked on this project. You see 3 of us up here, but there were actually a good number of people who I will thank later. But first, I want to talk about something. We have an expression in the unit that we work for, which is called walking through the valley of death. And it's something that anyone who works on long or detail-oriented investigations, they'll know what I'm talking about. And it usually comes sort of near the end of an investigation when you're about to put it to air. And you start to review everything you've done, and you start to sort of doubt or second guess the work that you've done. Even though you know you've done good work, you still have to sort of ask yourself. And in this case, we had done amazing work. I mean, we'd been working for a year. We had fact-checked and tested and phoned and interviewed and everyone we could possibly imagine. And it's not a rational moment that you go through, and it usually doesn't turn out to be justified. But in this case, we were going to talk about Scouts Canada, which was an organization that we were going to allege had failed to protect children and failed at times to report it to the police. So it was pretty serious what we were about to say. And it was an organization that was respectable. Obviously, it's the Boy Scouts. I can't think of one that's more respected in Canada. And it was an organization that was denying what we were about to report. And they claimed all the way along that the abuse that these people had suffered was always reported to the police. Up and down, they claimed this had always happened, that what we were about to report was completely inaccurate, and that if we reported it, they would sue us, actually, as we were getting closer to going to air. And sort of it's in those moments of valley of death that you learn a lot about the people you work for and the people you work with. And so there were some tough moments for us, but we learned a lot. And what we learned is that the people we work for and work with were willing to forge ahead when it was something in the face of some strong denials, when it was something that we believed in and that we knew was right, when we knew that men who had been abused by their Boy Scout leaders and then abused again by the organization when they tried to come forward, that these men deserved a voice and that their stories deserved to be told. We believed that there was no organization, not even the Boy Scouts, should escape accountability when it's the safety of young children involved. And we learned again that we all believe and continue to believe that investigative journalism is an important tool and vital, worth its time, worth its money, and that real change can happen when you put it to use. And none of us will ever forget the day Scouts Canada finally apologized to victims after we obviously decided to go to air in the face of all of these denials. So Scouts Canada eventually apologized. We got more than 2,000 emails and letters from people in response to this story. And many of them were victims who said, who thanked us for what we did and said, you know, we highlighted one case. And we had many more stories that came to us after that case went to air. And we'll not forget the day that Scouts Canada said these victims, some who they bullied into silencing by signing confidentiality agreements, by allowing them to finally speak. Victims who'd been abused and hadn't been able to talk about it for 30 years in some cases were finally able to tell their stories because of the work that we'd done. And, most important probably, Scouts Canada finally admitted that there were times when they didn't report this to the police, when they knew about it and failed to report it. So we won't forget those. So it was an amazing experience. And I want to recognize the team that made it all happen. There's Diana Swain, of course. And she wrote and told the story in a very artfully. And Angela Gilbert, who she headed up the research on this project, and let me tell you, there were some long nights that we've all lost track of how many there were, and the 3 of us in particular gave up a lot over the last year, I think, to make this happen. We gave up time with our families, we gave up sleep, No doubt about that, and I think we can say that none of us regret it. I want to thank our partners at the Los Angeles Times, Jason Felch and Kim Christensen, who helped us track down and work up a lot of the California parts of the story. It wouldn't have been possible without them. Our production team, Loretta Hicks, Katrina Warner, Tim Kindratuk, Larry, Kent, Paul Sealer, and many others, who not only made this story look and sound great, but also contributed to the journalism and the storytelling. And some of those people are here tonight. There's Loretta right there, and Paul Sealer. Harvey Cashore, he heads the investigative unit at CBC. He can't be here tonight. He's building an addition to his cabin in BC right now. But he's the person who sort of steered us on a day-to-day basis, and we're thankful for his advice. Jim Williamson and Marie Coloz, right here. They're with the Fifth Estate, and they helped us turn this sort of volume of information that we had and turn it into real compelling documentary television. So we're thankful for that. Mark Harrison and Michael Gruzak, who aren't here, I don't think, but they're with The National, who were also our partners in this project, and they gave it life on the CBC's most important news program, The National. We're very thankful for them. Cecil Rosner and his regional team of investigative journalists, who gave this story a life in the regions. We told stories across the country, and their team brought these stories to people across the country. Danny Henry, he is here somewhere. Where is he? Where's Danny? There he is. He's our lawyer, but he's a lot more than just our lawyer. And if you've ever thought through or sat through a fact-checking session with Danny Henry, you know it's not easy, but you know it's worth it. So thanks, Danny. And David Studer, he's our director of investigative journalism at the CBC. And he was a rock through this project. He's the guy when the letters come in with people complaining, they go to him. And he's the guy who's got to either back you up or say you're in trouble, and he backed us up. And he asked good questions along the way that made it better, so we're thankful for that. And of course, the senior management team, Heaton Dyer and Jennifer McGuire, who fund and support the unit that we work for and encourage us to do the work that we do. And I'll never forget, Jennifer was at one of our meetings a few months ago. Jennifer McGuire, she's the head of CBC News, the big cheese. And she said, your job is to rock the boat. And she said, you know, if nothing else, you guys have to rock the boat. And hopefully we've succeeded in doing that. So we're thankful for her encouragement, her support. And things are tough everywhere in the media world right now, and yet the CBC continues to support the important work like this. And we all can't say enough about how grateful we are for that. And I can't think of a better bunch of people to walk through the valley of death in. And I look forward to doing it again and again. And finally, thanks to the Hillman Foundation for recognizing our work. Awards like this only propel us and others to do more of it. We're thankful for that. Thank you very much.